gentlemen, these politicians are criminals. They are destroying our country, violating our Constitution and our laws and rights of privacy. They need to be arrested. They need to be prosecuted. I'll say it over and over. They need to be arrested and prosecuted. These people are no better than anyone else, and they are no better than the average criminal out there. Just to give an example of this, I don't know how many targeted individuals had contacted their senators and House representatives. And some of the letters that got back are absolutely laughable. Laughable when you hear or read these letters to someone. It's unbelievable. They act like they have absolutely no knowledge. That some of these senators have been in office for 40 years. 40 years. And they write letters back that they don't know about this. They were sitting in MK Ultra hearings, and they have the nerve, the audacity to report back to you a target who's being murdered in their home or followed out on the street. That they don't know anything about it, but they'll look into it. All too familiar to a person out there who can't call a police officer to do his job and get an investigation, can't go to the FBI or the Department of Justice because they're part of it, ladies and gentlemen. They're part of it. If you go to a medical facility and you require medical assistance and you're placed on this red list, you have real serious troubles. You run serious trouble because these people will literally knock you out and plant you to further use their attack on you. And we will discuss implants and that type of targeting at another date, okay? Now, to further this, we have terrorism liaison officers. Okay, listen to this one now. Okay, this started out with FISA as a Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. That meant if you were talking to somebody overseas and they were suspicious, then you became part of this FISA thing, and they could use the national security letters to gain information from you. Now they're telling you that they have terrorism liaison officers, all right? They are entrusted with hunting for suspicious activity and then report their findings, which end up in secret government databases. That means they can have a criminal, okay, because they're not all government people here. And what you'll find is a lot of these people who are attacking you out there are members of unions. They're members of the government, okay? They work with organized crime. So they have ability to target you in your community. This is known as community targeting. There are cells in this country and around the world of citizens who work for the government through the unions or organized crime and in many other places that are targeting American citizens. And they have the capability of doing it. Their jobs are in our infrastructure. In our infrastructure. They can hook up a telephone line outside your house. They can put in a cable line. They can do a lot of things and never be noticed doing it. And it's all condoned by the government, ladies and gentlemen, each and every bit of it. And they know all about this. And that's why Mr. Puppet Obama doesn't want to bring this information out. If this got out again, after they've already had foreknowledge through the Church Committee MK Ultra hearings that this was taking place, the government would be liable as the criminals that produced that actually did the crimes. That's why they never prosecuted anyone in MK Ultra, because this is the problem that they have. They can no longer afford to be transparent. They cannot be transparent because they are the criminals now. They have become part of the criminal activity. They have to cover it up. They have to cover it up. Though I do not and believe the family in this video are targets of gang stalking, I'll say that the example shown explains very well how someone could be stalked, monitored, and spied on 24 hours, 7 days a week. As this family was, I do not believe that they are targets of gang stalking because gang stalking is often covert. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever been gang stalked, and I'm telling you flat out, I have, and you will know when you're being gang stalked. A lot of people won't recognize it, but you will know. They will show you that you're being gang stalked, and it's done many, many different ways. I want to go into one other thing before I give it back to Bad Baby. It's called cell phone stalking, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a very important thing here. The families say the calls come in about all hours of the night. This is from a family. They threaten to kill their children, their pets and grandparents. Voicemails arrive playing recordings of their private conversations, including one with local police detective. That means they're monitoring on your cell phone. The caller knows, the family said, what they're wearing and what they're doing. After months of investigating, police seem powerless to stop them, which is a bunch of bull, because they do have the capability and technology to trace back who, in fact, is intercepting the phone. Okay? Keep in mind now that cell phones, they can track you with a cell phone. They can listen to you even if your cell phone is turned off with the use of the microphone in the cell phone. I want to let you know that. So cell phones can be an extremely, a tool that can be used for covert surveillance. Absolutely. Back to you, Bad Baby.
Yeah, I just want to elaborate a little bit on the cell phone thing. I saw a news story on Channel 2 here where they were saying that even private detectives were using that as a form of catching cheating husbands. The only way they cannot listen to you with your cell phone is for you to take the battery out of it. Even if it's turned off, they can listen to your conversation. So be aware that your cell phone is a tool that can be used against you if you're taking it around with you and you don't want your conversations listened to. You have to remove your battery. Okay, I want to go on with the gang stalking. What are the goals of gang stalkers? The goal is to isolate the target from all forms of support so they can. And I'll give you a little form of that. They have isolated me from my family, and they can map your voice. And I had no idea what voice mapping is. I was on the phone with somebody, and they asked me what was going on with my voice, that my voice was sounding normal, and then it was sounding like a robot, and then it was sounding normal again. And another target who is very knowledgeable about this told me they were mapping my voice. Well, I couldn't understand why. He said they're going to create a conversation with your voice. Well, they did. What they did was they called my children. I have no idea what they said, but they left a message on their machine, and my children wouldn't talk to me anymore. And I saw them at my mother's funeral, and I asked them, what did I do that was so terrible that you won't talk to me? And they said, you know what you did, Ma. And I said, no, I don't, and I would appreciate you to tell me. And they both said, after the message you left on my machine, I'll never speak to you again. So this is how they isolate you. You think, well, they can't isolate me from my family. I said to my son, well, I never left you no message. And he said, don't lie to me. I know your voice. So that's just a perfect example right there of how the extent they will go to isolate you, and they do have me isolated from everyone. Now, the goal is to isolate the target from all forms of support, so that the target can be set up in the future for arrest, institutionalization, or forced suicide. Other goals of this harassment is to destroy the target's reputation and credibility and make the target look crazy or unstable. Other goals involve sensitizing the target to everyday forms of control, which is used to control targets when they get out of line. Once the target is sensitized, the citizen informants have an easier time identifying the target in public. These programs are designed to make the target of these harassments vulnerable. They want to make them destitute. The secondary goal seems to make the target homeless, jobless, give them a breakdown. The primary goal seems to be to drive the target to forced suicide, just like they did with some of the targets in the COINTELPRO program. And it's a useful way to eliminate enemies, or enemies of anyone who doesn't like you can put you on this list. Now, on the COINTELPRO part, I feel that a lot of my targeting is COINTELPRO. I did not realize what was going on when I first started being targeted and they entered my home. I was finding change laying around everywhere. Well, someone had informed me that they were letting me know I was in the COINTELPRO program, and that's why they leave change laying around. I was almost grounded last winter, and when I came in and picked up my Afghan off the couch, change flew all over, and they just wanted to let me know that they were involved. And that's the kind of things they do with these coins. So if you're finding coins laying around, they're letting you know that you're in the COINTELPRO program. What are some of the other names for